For 20 years, militaries from around the world have gathered in Singapore for the annual Shangri-La Dialogue. Government officials, analysts, and foreign press all come together to exchange ideas on security and defense. But with this year's event concluded, a growing gap in communication between the US and China has been the main topic of discussion. In one of the first speeches at the summit, US Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin was quick to denounce an incident involving a Chinese fighter jet flying dangerously close to a U.S. military plane.
We've all just seen another troubling case of aggressive and unprofessional flying by the PRC. So we will support our allies and partners as they defend themselves against coercion and bullying.
But this kind of activity isn't just taking place in the skies over the South China Sea. Once the summit was underway, Taiwan's military spotted a U.S.-guided missile destroyer and a Canadian warship transiting through the Taiwan Strait. Footage later released by Canadian media showed a Chinese warship coming within 140 meters of the destroyer and nearly causing a collision. Even though the transit took place in international waters, China is pointing blame at the U.S.
真正的要避免这些，除了我们制定这样的规则，这些规则都是不得已而为之。我们要制定这样的规则，最好的办法就是我们各国，特别是各国的军机和军舰，都不要到别的国家领海和领空附近去转悠。
The comments come as China continues to operate fighter jets and warships around Taiwan, which it claims as part of its territory and has vowed to take by force if necessary. So far in 2023, close to 2,000 Chinese military aircraft have been spotted around Taiwan. Roughly 750 of those have breached Taiwan's Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. This space isn't Taiwan's territory, but it's used for defensive purposes. Tensions in the Taiwan Strait are high, and in light of China's aggression, Taiwan has been boosting its combat readiness. The country has increased weapons purchases from the U.S. and has deepened bilateral security cooperation in an effort to harden its defenses. But the U.S. says it still sees communication with China as key to maintaining peace in Asia.
At the end of the day, communication is important in the sense that you get a better idea of what your opponent is thinking and possibly planning.
Despite China's rejection of a meeting with the U.S., officials from both sides shook hands at the opening ceremony. But Washington is still urging Beijing to reopen lines of communication.
And a cordial handshake over dinner is no substitute for a substantive engagement. And the more that we talk, the more we can avoid the misunderstandings and miscalculations that could lead to crisis or conflict.
With the Shangri-La Dialogue officially over, countries in Asia are now increasingly cautious. The concern now is what might happen if the current lack of official dialogue between the world's two largest superpowers goes on, and if tensions continue to escalate. Eason, Chen, and Jaime Ocon for TaiwanPlus.